Hi students, it's Professor Fernetovich here, and I'm in my office and here to talk to you about carbon. We've been going over some basic chemistry principles and talked about properties of water and different types of bonding. And now we're going to look at carbon. Carbon can be the basis of many biological molecules. So we're going to see carbon in the coming chapters while we look at things like proteins and carbohydrates, even DNA and fats contain carbon. Carbon is one of the most common elements found in biological organisms. So the study of carbon-based chemistry is called organic chemistry. And so we're going to look at our friendly carbon atoms. When you look at carbon on the periodic table, it will look something like this. The box of carbon shows the atomic symbol of carbon, its atomic number, which is 6, and its atomic mass, 12.01. So this means carbon has 6 protons in the nucleus. When it's neutral, it has 6 electrons as well. And the most common isotope of carbon has a weight of 12, so it has 6 neutrons in the nucleus also. This is carbon in its natural form. And here's a Bohr model showing the electron arrangement for a carbon atom. From that Bohr model, you can see that carbon has 6 electrons, 2 are in the inner shell, and the remaining 4 are in the next shell. And those 4 valence or outer shell electrons tell us that carbon will bond with, will form 4 bonds. Okay? These are usually single or double covalent bonds. As we can see here, the covalent bonds are represented by lines, and this is a central carbon, and it can bond 4 times with 4 single bonds, or down here in the picture, we can have carbon with double bonds. So it can bond with 4 other elements, or it can bond with fewer other elements as long as the bonds are double or triple. Carbon can form different shaped molecules, and here is a ring-shaped molecule, hexane. Each carbon is represented by a dark circle or sphere. This is like a ball and stick model. And the lines in between the spheres represent the bonds. So if you look at each of those carbon atoms, you will see 4 lines coming off of it for 4 bonds. This is a hydrogen atom right here. So this carbon is attached to the carbon to the left and the carbon to the right. That one has a double bond, and the hydrogen with a single bond. This picture over here on the right shows a ring of carbon atoms. Hydrogens are not shown, but each of these orange dots represents a carbon atom. It would have a hydrogen attached to it. This is a central metal atom, a large metal in the middle of the sphere. This just shows some diversity of carbon's molecules. Carbon often forms chains, and here are some simple carbon chains. Methane is shown right here. This is 1 carbon covalently bonded to 4 hydrogens. So the hydrogens are shown in red, and their valence electrons are shown as red dots. The carbon is shown in blue, and its valence electrons are shown as blue dots. And so each bond is a pair of electrons being shared by a carbon and hydrogen. Okay. So here are the pair of electrons. These are single covalent bonds. Ooh. Here is an ethane molecule similar to methane, but it's a little bit bigger with an extra carbon and the surrounding hydrogens. So this is C2H6. That would be how we'd write it in its chemical formula, C2H6. 2 carbons, 6 hydrogens. And right here is propane. Same type of structure, only here we see the bonds represented as lines. That's propane, another carbon chain, and here is butane with 4 carbons. These chains can get longer and longer. These molecules are called hydrocarbons and have a lot of energy to them. Methane, ethane, propane, butane are all used for fuel. Butane's found in lighters, propane in your in your gas grills. Methane and ethane are used in natural gas to heat homes. So these carbon skeletons can be very simple with just carbon and hydrogen. Those are called the hydrocarbons. But if we add functional groups in place of the hydrogens, we can make the molecules a little more complex. Functional groups can change the polarity and reactivity of the whole molecule. So most of the time, I'm going to go back a slide here, hydrocarbons are just carbon and hydrogen, and they're hydrophobic. That means we have nonpolar covalent bonding. CH bonds are nonpolar. So hydrocarbons don't mix with water. Being hydrophobic means they're water-fearing, and they will separate when placed in an aqueous solution. Okay, some important hydrocarbons listed in your book are hydroxyls, OHs, which form alcohols, carbonyls, COs, carboxyl, COOH, amino groups, which can form amino acids. They contain nitrogen, sulfhydryl groups with sulfur, and phosphate groups, OPO3. I want you to focus on hydroxyls, aminos, and phosphates. Okay, in this chapter, we will see those most commonly throughout the semester. All right, so I hope you're keeping up with your readings, and I'll see you in lab.